Today, kindergartners, you're going to be making a flower bouquet with basic shapes like rectangles and circles. Then you'll be adding patterns with shapes and lines in all different colors. I'm sure you can think of someone to give this bouquet to cheer them up. Here are some examples of Heather Goller's work. Mrs. Heckendorf likes it because it's so bright and colorful and cheerful, but it uses really simple lines and shapes. To start my own image, I have a piece of paper. I'm going to take a book that fits on my piece of paper as a tracer for the vase. So this is just a Curious George book we had around, and I'm going to trace the top of it for my rectangle vase. And if I want to get really fancy here, I can add kind of a lip on the top of the vase. It's just a little bit wider and angled out. So there's my vase. I have two different circles. This is the lid of like a food container, and then I have a pod for my Keurig machine that I'm using as a tracer. Anything that's shaped like a circle would work. This circle is going to go a little bit over the edge of the vase. I'm going to have one going off the top of the paper up here, and one over here. And you'll notice where these two touched, I let this one be on top and this one is underneath, so I didn't trace the line right here. That's called overlap. Now I'm going to take my smaller one. Sometimes it might be a smaller circle traced inside. Or I'm going to do a small one here, and maybe one even kind of going over the edge of the vase right here. I'm going to have one more spot with overlap right here. So I'm not tracing every part of it. So here is the basic shapes to start with: a rectangle, an upside down trapezoid, and lots of circles. Then what Heather Goller does is she adds lots of different patterns to make these flowers interesting to look at. So I might be thinking of seeds in the center of this flower. And then once I have the seeds in the center, maybe I'm just going to add some other seeds out here that are just circles, but I'm doing this in a pattern. Now I'm going to go out here and add a wavy line as the petals of the flower. I'm going to erase my little bit of vase down here that would be behind my flower. I'm going to be going into these other circle spaces and making them more interesting using patterns, lines, and shapes. So at this point, I have patterns, lines, shapes added to make those circles look like more interesting flowers. I'm also going to add a couple football or oval shapes in for leaves, anywhere where it looks kind of empty to me. And then maybe a couple vines, just curly lines. And there I have a really full, beautiful bouquet of flowers. At this point, you really could use whatever materials you have around your house. I'm going to be using some markers, some crayons, and then finishing the background with watercolor. But if you only have crayons or only have colored pencils or only have markers, you certainly can color it with whatever you have. And because I want this to be really bright and colorful like Heather Goller's work, I'm not going to worry so much about realistic colors like the center of the flower always having to be yellow with seeds. I might mix up my color choices a little bit. So I've used shapes, rectangles, circles, and here's some diamond shapes. I've used patterns where I repeat colors or shapes. I've used lines to make my flower bouquet. I hope you have fun making and giving yours to somebody who could use a little cheering up. All right, I will talk to you next time, kindergarten.